Ya de hippen. Ro ya de kon kiskoni loni gido kon he ya mehakagi. And yeah, to all, thank you for being with us here. Folks that came a long ways, especially from Tuba City. Yeah, come all this way to support us. And also the news media that are here with us. Thank you. And friends and family, Mom, and former President of the Blue House. Thank you for supporting us. I'm going to go ahead and read a statement we prepared that explains all the concerns and points that we want to raise. But first of all, I'll also make a quick introduction. In Srinigate na hapisin Sriniro, this fan was Chino, the Parasichi, Honavang, so thank you for relatives that are also here with us. Okay, let me go ahead and begin sharing this with you. Because I believe that we, the Dine, are the holy people, endowed by our Creator to be the stewards of our homelands and protectors of our traditional way of life. Dine is who we are, with the inalienable right to clean air, clean water, and to live and thrive on our own motherlands. We are facing many issues on Navajo Nation. The people are fighting for their water rights and against non-Navajo interests to our natural resources that supports dirty energy production, which pollutes our air, water, and homelands. And ironically, we who live in Western Navajo have been denied electricity and access to potable water because of outside interests and policies like the Bennett Freeze. Today, many leaders are open and are said to support uranium mining on the Navajo Nation. Let us not forget the largest nuclear accident in the United States, which happened when a radioactive toxic waste dam broke and released its runoff into the Rio Puerto River on July 16, 1979 at 5 a.m. on the Navajo Nation. Less than 12 hours after President Carter's proposed plans to use more nuclear power and fossil fuels. On that morning, more than 1,100 tons of uranium mining waste tailings gushed through the packed mud dam near Church Rock, New Mexico. With the tailings, 100 million gallons of radioactive water gushed through the dam before the crack was repaired. Barely a word of this disaster ever found its way to the national media. Even today, if any, few Americans even know about this unspeakable disaster. It is my honor as President of Forgotten People to introduce the People's Resolution calling for the Navajo Nation and the United States government to fund the remediation of uranium contamination, to honor the spirit of the uranium mining moratorium and support the implementation of a radiation sensor monitoring system across the Navajo Nation. The Forgotten People have called upon the Navajo Nation to demand that it be resolved that our people, as all people, have the inalienable right to clean air, clean water, and the preservation of their sacred lands. For the past 70 years, even before the nuclear disaster on our lands of 1979, in fact, since the days our people first worked in the uranium mines of our nation to build atomic weapons that were used to end the Second World War, the people of the Navajo Nation have been misled, deceived, and ignored by government about the dangers they have been exposed to and coming devastation that would be brought upon our children. the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the lands we've labored and cherished over many generations. Nearly 30,000 of our people have made claims to the U.S. government under the law, demanding compensation and care of their cancers and suffering, and the suffering of their children, and our unborn from the poisoned wind and water. Even though the mining has stopped, the toxic radioactive debris from these mines have been picked up by the winds to fall wherever the winds carry it. These places include our homes, our streams, our aquifers, our lungs, and the bodies of our children. The toxins will remain lethal for the next 4.5 billion years, and the plague will not go away until we as people commit to ending it. This nuclear plague upon our nation is America's Chernobyl, and we will not be ignored or marginalized. For the Navajo people to fight against the scourge is not a matter of ideology, it is a matter of life and death, and it is a fight we will not lose. Here again, our homelands are for sale for shale oil and shale gas. Enormous riches to non-natives, eager investors, and corporations are poised to exploit. In this process, our motherlands that support life are again being subjugated. Radioactive deadly radon gas will be emitted as it was from the uranium mining from the past decades. Our water will be threatened again, even as we have yet to clean up the last nuclear and continued assault on our homelands from the mining. This time, the threat will come from radioactive tracers that are used in hydraulic fracking, so that investors can forecast where the shale oil and shale gas will flow as they inject high-pressure toxic fluids beneath our sacred lands. If we do not act now, before the agreements are signed behind closed doors, where grassroots are excluded from discussion, a new plague of death and suffering will be inflicted upon us, just as it was 70 years ago when government didn't think we had the right to know. We, the forgotten people, today and forever demand an end to the needless suffering of our people. The deception of our government can no longer be allowed. We suffer as a result of policies and business practices approved and enacted upon the Navajo Nation, state of Arizona, and federal government elected officials. We call upon you to halt any and all political business practices that affect us, without first consulting with the people in an exclusive, transparent way. Today, we the forgotten people have put our government on notice that we, the people, know there is a better way and are determined as Dine to build a sustainable future that supports social, economic, and environmental justice. The Dine have an inalienable right under our treaties, human rights, civil rights, and rights as indigenous people to not only exist but to also prosper. There can be new prosperity. There can be a better tomorrow for all. But that day will not come if we repeat the mistakes of yesterday and if we allow those who would exploit our homelands today without first cleaning up the mess they left behind from the past. We as a nation